All right, we're back with an original late night podcast,
Hey everybody.
episode 22. I had to check this time just to get us on track.
Wow.
No weird stuff. Can we hit the light and we get started? Hope everybody's doing good tonight. It is definitely a late night. So by the time this comes out, by the time that y'all hear this, which is pretty much right after we record, right after we finish, it goes up. But essentially, yeah, it's a late night, so we're gonna have to work through this one.
It is. This is probably the most I felt in a while since we like doing one late. I feel good, but I'm a little sleepy for sure.
Yeah, we might need some subtitles for this one.
Hopefully not.
But yeah, same. And got the itis a little bit.
I think that's what it is.
But hopefully everybody, you know, out there is doing well, having a blessed day, around the world. Um, it's obviously the day of giving thanks, depending on where you are. Um, and depending on what you celebrate or observe, but every day, how I kind of try to look at it is every day and every night is as a time to give thanks for being here, for being, in a position to be a blessing um, to the Lord first and foremost, like doing what He, brought us and gave us life to do. And then obviously the other people, you know, through our giving, our actions, our inspiration, impression, but those are my thoughts. But thankful for any listeners for sure that's listening today, tonight, tomorrow, whenever, even if it takes a couple years. Thankful to have you. So yeah,
Yes. I think you speak for us both when you say those things.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, let's get right into it.
All right. Well, I feel good.
Okay.
How you feel?
I'm good.
Aside from the triple Z's.
Um, yeah, I'm good. I feel filled up with just learning new things. I think you can always tell a difference when you've been spending your time just learning and cultivating your mindset. Because when you kind of step away from that, I don't know, it's just like you can't really explain it. You just know that, I don't know, I guess like your body or spirit yearning to like keep learning
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
So,
I mean, I think not to cut you off, but that's like the appetite. Like, you know, typically we associate it with negative things, but if you feed yourself the right things, you're gonna want more of that.
that's good.
But my
That's
bad, keep
good.
going. I had to say that.
No, that you put it perfectly, honestly. But yeah, I mean, that's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling renewed. I mean, there was something the other day that I didn't feel like doing it. I think it was just cutting something on that was edifying to listen to.
Yeah,
But
you gotta define that first.
which part?
Edifying.
Oh, edifying, something that builds you up. It's something that builds you up. It's something that is edifying.
Does one have to be broken to be edified, or just in the foundational stages? Or I guess could you also edify something that's already built up?
You can edify something that's
Like, what's the purpose? I guess is what I'm trying to say. Of like,
of edifying.
yeah, or doing something or listening to something like you said, cutting on
Um,
something that's edifying.
I would say in my own words is just to make it better, um, to add to it in a positive way, to help change it or evolve it in such a way that is
Yeah.
beneficial or empowering.
You also said filled up, like, guess being filled with the right, information or inspiration or,
Yeah, it's like edifying yourself. It's like
yeah,
building yourself up.
yeah.
Um, so yeah.
Saying some stuff, so I have to trying to help us to help listeners. Even though I'm listening too, I'm a listener, but because that's good stuff. Edifying, that's like a word that I think it gets used, but some people probably hear it and don't really, so now they know.
That's true. But yeah, so I didn't feel like doing it,
Mm-hmm.
but I was glad that I did after. Um, and it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling for sure. And I think as a result of that, I mean, I just feel good, you know.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, and I would almost say that edifying yourself or edifying oneself is like an aid to like, um, I guess like momentum. Like when you continue to edify yourself, you allow yourself to be edified. You position yourself to have like momentum in the right direction.
I'm getting excited.
Because that's why I ask. Sometimes I ask the questions I ask you. I might have an answer in mind, but I want to see what you think, and I'm kind of just thinking about what as people sometimes what we might think in general. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Like if somebody is broken and they're not edifying themselves, obviously that's not giving them much momentum in a certain direction to get
Yeah.
out of that space. And I'm not saying like, somebody's broken to just say that in an insensitive way, but I'm just trying to speak practically. Or if somebody is in a much better space, I'll say, and has taken some time to like work on themselves and they've gotten to a comfortable space, but they don't take the time still to edify themselves, they could potentially, uh, I say, quote unquote, short circuit themselves from not being able to, you know, continue that momentum,
That's
you
true.
know.
That's a major key because I think even being somebody who, if what you do, something, the things that you do in your daily routine, for example,
Yeah,
if you consider those things, stuff that builds you up, like you might feel like you don't need or want that today
yeah,
because you do so much of it. So you end up, like you said, short circuiting or giving yourself a pass. Like, I don't have to keep doing it. Like, I already have built myself up in this way.
yeah.
Um, but
But by short circuit, I mean, you don't even see it coming though.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So you might give yourself a pass enough times to the point where you don't realize that you kept giving yourself a pass and now you've like slowed and maybe even stopped that momentum or caused it to go in the opposite direction.
yeah. So
Yeah.
exactly. I guess I'm just reiterating,
Nah, yeah, yeah.
what you just said is you think you don't need it just because you don't feel like it today,
Yeah.
but you do. Like you have to continue. It's just like building anything. Just because you build it, you still have to maintain it. Like you can't just leave it.
Yeah.
Like it'll end up reverting back. Now, next thing you know, the whole foundation or the building is dilapidated
Yeah.
because you stopped taking care of it in the way that, you know, you stopped doing the things you did to build it or to keep it up.
Yeah. The necessary things to keep it, beautified.
Yeah.
It's like a skincare routine.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Nah, but yeah, I mean that's good stuff. I mean it almost brings me to the place of thinking about enjoyment. We were kind of talking about before we got on here. Just enjoying what you do, you know, or finding ways or reasons to enjoy like what it is that you feel is purposeful to do.
Yeah.
It's like to me that helps somebody to I guess maintain that momentum. Because if you don't enjoy it, after a while, like it can just become a chore, and you might find a reason enough to continue, but there might come a time where like that's not really enough. Like you don't have joy in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's almost like edifying yourself to me when I hear you, describe or define what that means to you. Um, and I think about it for myself, like edifying yourself is almost like a process of going to a source you're not going to leave that without being
Mm.
filled with some sort of joy or
Yeah.
some amount of joy or, you know, because it's reaffirming, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But, if you don't enjoy the process to the extent that you're able to maybe take the time away from the actual thing, even if it's just a couple of seconds or minutes to like be reminded, whether you tell yourself or you have a conversation with somebody else, or
Mm-hmm.
like you say, you cut something on that is speaking to you or, showing you something or whatever, that helps you to revisit like what's important, or maybe not revisit, maybe you're still learning like what's important about this path, this purpose, this walk towards this goal or whatever it is. If you don't, you know, I don't know, if you're not able to find yourself in that space often enough that you get to a place where like you get up and do this thing with joy every day, like you might quickly find yourself like on the next path or
Yeah.
trying to wonder why you didn't get as far as you wish you could have gotten, you know,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. Like just loving it from top to bottom, you know.
Yeah, and that's a good point. And I'm glad you brought that up because as you're saying all that, I'm thinking about building a house. Like, literally, if I had to build a physical house,
Yeah.
um, obviously, we know houses need a strong foundation in order for them to stand.
Yeah.
And, we look around and for those of, people looking out the window, might be walking, riding, driving by some construction. And, we see these construction workers building these houses.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I think about the legwork that it takes to just lay the foundation, even, and then start like the actual building. So, just drawing that parallel with doing things that are purposeful or sticking to processes and habits and ways that are edifying to us. Um, you know, enjoyment is a huge part of what you're saying, and learning to enjoy it, because
Yeah.
you if those are the things that builds our house, like the moment it does feel like legwork, you frustrated looking for the nails to
Yeah.
hammer into the wood. Like, that's not fun. This is like becoming frustrating.
Yeah.
And even the time that it takes, because we're thinking about, well, finally, if I could just get to the part where I could just paint the house, like that'd be so easy. That'd be
Yeah.
fun because now I can finally pick the colors now that I've, you know,
I mean, you find yourself in a rush,
yeah,
honestly.
yeah,
And you said foundation in the beginning, and there's depth that's necessary. Like you have to do some digging.
yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't just lay the foundation on top of the ground. So when
I
you talk about
know.
edifying, and when I talk about, you know, finding ways to enjoy it, it's like, and reasons to enjoy it, that takes some digging, that takes some depth, as far as like the place we might need to go to, or the place we might need to even realize exists, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
which gives us the reason to build from there.
Mm-hmm.
Not just like, okay, I'm going to go do this thing, or this is what I'm doing to make money. This is what I'm doing because my parents said it would be good for my life, or, like, of course, like money, wisdom from your parents, whatever, those are necessary components. But obviously, having the best life or the best picture for ourselves probably requires that we do some digging, you know,
Yeah.
so that when we get there, we're strong. We know we started from a certain place, from a
Mm-hmm.
more sure place, So, yeah, what you're saying. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
And that's why I brought up the getting frustrated with the nails because the nails can almost serve as symbolism to these are the little things that we do
Yeah,
to help us um hammer in like all the bigger pieces together
yeah.
so that we can get
Di-
to the end result.
Disclaimer: do not follow these instructions to build. But yeah,
But the more we enjoy, you know, using each individual nail to like place it where it
yeah,
belongs, then the again that much more is the does the process become enjoyable,
yeah,
and we don't get tired of doing the things that are necessary and needed for us to do what we got to do, be who we're supposed to be, and just ultimately keep evolving
yeah. And not being in a rush.
and not
Because
being in a
everything
rush.
everything you're saying, I mean, when you say frustration, like that's just simply, that's you've gotten to a place where for whatever reason you're anxious to get to where you're going, or you're anxious to finish the job, and
Yeah.
that's kind of obviously, if I'm I think the term is like, or the phrase is like, full transparency.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was kind of expressing, when we were talking. It's like I don't want to be anxious or in a rush to do something to the extent that I just start to every day I'm going through these motions to try to get there faster and faster. I want to enjoy it so
Yeah.
that I can put my absolute best foot forward into it,
Mm-hmm.
and get everything out of it that I'm supposed to get out of it. And then no matter how fast or slow I'm moving, I'm making progress,
Yeah.
and I'm learning, and I'm soaking up every experience, so that I'm in essence I am being filled up, like you said, like just even through that, because now my eyes are wide open. I'm expecting, to get something out of this every day.
Yeah.
I'm not just coming here saying like, let me show up so I can finish and leave,
Yeah.
to say I did it, and then my eyes are not open to it. I'm not here to get everything. I just want to get finished.
Yeah.
And then as a result, I'm in a rush. I'm frustrated. I'm not being edified. I'm probably not enjoying it, and I'm not gonna get to
Mm-hmm.
where I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
And it's gonna take me way longer if I did for some reason just keep going. I might get there, but
Yeah. That's so good. I mean, I know I'm guilty of that for sure. Just and sometimes we're so in a rush, you even forget what you're even waiting on
exactly.
or looking for or what.
That's why the edifying thing is great.
Yeah,
Gold.
but it's so crazy how we do gloss over the process in that way
Yeah,
because we don't have the mindset of knowing that the process we should enjoy the process because our process should be of things that are edifying
yeah,
to us and for us. But if we don't look at it that way, or if our process doesn't include that, and our process is only filled with the wonders of life, and I just don't know when this is going to happen, like that's all we're focused on in
yeah,
our process, then it's not enjoyable. But that's not what the process, that's not what we should view the process as,
yeah,
because it does take away, and it makes it more long and drawn out, makes you more tired.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I think, not to cut you off.
oh, no, 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 you go.
No, you go.
I wasn't saying anything. I think my thought ended right there. That
All right, well, we worked it out amongst ourselves reasonably. Nah, but I think you settled it though. Like, enjoyment and edification, like they really go hand in hand. Like, yeah, find your hand to do. I don't know why I'm trying to like say this, whatever these sayings are, but basically whatever your hand finds itself to do, I'm inserting the part, like, enjoy it. You should enjoy it. But like you said, it should also be edifying. And if you enjoy it, it probably will be edifying. If it's edifying, you probably will enjoy it.
yeah.
But one without the other might not be truly edifying, or it might not truly be enjoyment.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you're finding reasons and ways to edify yourself, like that's always good. But if it's like a miserable process, I hate to
Yeah.
use this example, but it's like going to church. But if
Mhm.
you're not, for anybody that might go to church, it could be another house of worship, but I'm just using the church as an example. It could be that you're going for the purpose of being edified. But if you're not getting out of it, because it's not the literal place for you, like you're supposed to go to another place,
Yeah.
another church, whatever, another location, then, like the Bible says, going to the brook that feeds you is probably what you're supposed to do, not to any brook. You know what I
Right.
mean? So if you don't enjoy it, it might hinder the edification process. You might be in there falling asleep.
Yeah.
You're not really getting edified like you could be.
Mhm.
Now it's just like, well, I did get my church in for the day, but did you actually learn and grow?
Yeah.
So
I do. I mean,
I don't want to use that example, but
I want to add another example
go ahead.
to that. I was going to use the analogy of
Alley-oop. No, I'm just playing.
of exercising
Mm-hmm.
to where, if you're just getting started in exercising, that might not be super appealing. What's you getting started in it is knowing like you should exercise.
Yeah,
But now when we're talking about the enjoyment of the process, once you start doing that, like I don't know, there's different ways to exercise.
yeah,
Some people may prefer to dance, like because that is a opportunity to move their body as opposed to lifting weights or doing all the other things.
yeah,
So it's just really a matter of knowing, like, well, if the goal is to move your body, don't make yourself miserable to where you're quitting.
yeah,
But there are ways that we can find, like you said, that's still in so many ways another way to um, finding the right brook that is going to feed you or edify you
yeah,
so that you can, have the necessary energy and attention and focus
yeah,
to get done like what you need to get done. Don't just like, oh, I hate what exercising looks like, and you never explore another option that you could still use to move your body and like get out of what you're supposed to get out of a process of exercising and moving around.
yeah. I mean, with that, I think it's just like you said, the edification though. Like if you're not, I think part of edification is learning too. Like
Yeah.
it's maybe more passive. Like you're not trying to. It's not like a learning process where it's like desperation, but I
Yeah.
feel like it is like you're allowing yourself to be filled up with something that's going to encourage you, possibly teach you, possibly, remind you, affirm you. Like, so if you're not learning about new ways or different ways to exercise or exposing yourself, to that knowledge, information, or environments even, then you're limiting yourself. You
Yeah.
are saying like this is something automatically that I don't enjoy if I don't enjoy it this way. You know what I mean? And as a result, like you can't enjoy it. You've already made up in your mind. Go ahead.
Y'all, I just touched the mic and it's hot right now.
Yeah, I mean, double dutch, jump in, jump out. But I'm just saying. So at the same time, like again, I think that's the balance of the two. Like I think that was a great what you said.
And another word
You know,
you said that stuck out to me is also momentum. And I think that's why that's important too, because the momentum will die out without doing or
yeah,
exposing ourselves to things that will allow us to expand our perspective, our view on what's available to us so that we literally have the momentum to keep going.
exactly. That's what I was saying. Yeah, like without that, I mean, it's detrimental to not bring yourself back to the place where
Hmm.
you are reminded. Like there's more to this than just the goal or me being comfortable.
Yeah.
And the same is probably true of what I said. There's more to this than just having fun. Even enjoyment is great, but without it being something that is rewarding and that I'm reminded that I'm needing to go somewhere, like, yeah, it's at some point I feel like the flame dies out,
Yeah.
you know, which I'll use that to segue
Hmm.
into what I was gonna say or thinking. that we could talk about. I don't know. How can I word this? I guess just I'll phrase it in this way. Like, let's talk about what it means to walk in fear. I'm not trying to set it up weird. I'm just trying to remember how I was thinking it. But basically, like, I want to talk about walking in fear. I just said the flame dying out, so I guess that was a good segue. But
Yeah.
and basically, I guess what it just kind of crossed my mind the other day. Just going through life, and I guess just encountering different people, perspectives, conversations I've had recently. But it's like, just walking in fear, just realizing or wondering, like, obviously all of us have encountered fear, like everybody at some point in time in life, if not every day, in some way, shape, or form. Fear don't have to be like this crazy huge thing. It could be very small.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I just want to talk about, I guess, it could be brief, but um, I guess just some of the ways in which it affects us, what it looks like, you know, maybe why, the reason behind it. You know what I mean? So,
Okay, well, one thing I will say, the first thing that comes to mind with you saying or bringing up walking in fear is that walking in fear definitely causes us to waste time.
it's good. Not good, but that's good. A good observation.
It makes us delay our decision making when we know that we have a vision for something that we want to do,
Mm-hmm.
but we we take long to decide because we're weighing what may scare us the most about making this decision as opposed to making the decision that is in line with what we are aiming to do.
Yeah.
Um, so I will say that, and I guess as a result, in turn, that does affect many things. I think it can, as a result, it does put a delay on our happiness. It causes us to take longer to even probably grow out of the fear because we're allowing the fear to like take a deeper root.
Yeah.
And if if those things causes certain habits, like if that's causing a delay of time in decision making, that means we're procrastinating because we're still going back and forth in our mind about how we should do the thing or what somebody is saying about us. I think a lot of things can even be born out of just simply like we're wasting time by walking in fear.
Yeah. So why do you why do you think we even get to that place? Or why do you think we stay in that place, or both?
Honestly, I think it's because we're so smart that we have the ability to process and analyze and consider. There may be even parts of us that want to include things or people or whatever the case is. I mean, I think a large part of it is maybe inclusivity of others,
Mm-hmm.
be it our thoughts or whatever decision that we're going to make.
So you're saying like our intelligence literally is fear driven, or it's fear seeking even,
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we're too smart for our own
or
good
fear causing.
because we'll say, like, we know we want to do something,
Mm-hmm.
but oh, I can't do that because if I do, it's going to hurt their feelings. Or I can't do that because I don't know how it's going to affect such and such. And I'm not saying that these are not good things to think about
Yeah.
when we're talking about either people we love or care about, but for for the decision to be made out of fear though,
Yeah.
that's not a good foundation for us to live in.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. So yeah, I guess our own intelligence. potentially and us considering other people, but more so the opinions that may not even be real, but you know,
I'm
the
not trying
opinions
to
of
be
others.
deep. I just know we just have the ability to consider all sides
Yeah,
sometimes, and we just might be afraid of the what we think the consequence might be
yeah.
if we make a decision, and so we don't make the decision.
That's a good point to my next question.
We go the safe route. I'm listening.
Mm, you say we go the safe route, but you just said like our ability to consider all sides basically causes us to walk in fear. My next point being like living in fear. Like, what does that look like? And because when you say our ability to consider all sides, like, causes basically us to walk in fear, or make decisions out of fear, does that not mean that we now are living in fear? Because walking in fear can be in any given moment.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of look at it. But living in fear is like, I don't know that we're wired for our intelligence to like produce fear. Now, maybe there's a healthy level of caution, you know what I mean? Or, like you said, taking the safe route, the safest route, maybe. That might be wisdom. But to live in fear is to not do things to please other people or simply to not just please like in a positive sense either, but pleasing meaning like you're not even considering your own,
hmm
self or even your own purpose maybe. Like you're just thinking about what other people think. And if those people are thinking based out of fear, you making your decisions based on fear on top of fear. If you thinking out of fear. So like what does it look like to live in fear? Or what's the difference between making decisions out of fear, maybe in any given instance, and living out of fear? I don't want to make you answer all these, but I'll jump into when you.
I mean, I think living in fear is not doing not going full force at the thing that I would say just at your vision, not moving with full willpower and consistency towards your vision.
What does that look like?
Meaning, if you have to make a decision, you don't, hopefully, I'm using this word right, but you don't vacillate. You just make the decision to do it. You don't even allow yourself, it don't even have to be about other people all the time. You could say to yourself, well, I'm not, I don't think I'm the best good looking. I don't know how I'm going to compete in that space. Or I'm not the best speaker.
Yeah,
I don't drive the best car. Like it could be anything to
yeah,
what that would cause you to not want to show up the way that you're supposed to show up and you have to show up, but you don't. Or we take forever to decide how we're going to show up because
yeah,
we're trying to find ways around like what we feel
yeah,
to see if there's somehow we can get around it, or if we wait enough time, hopefully nobody will have to see us in this state
yeah,
that we're viewing ourselves in and do it.
yeah. I think I got it though,
Okay.
because you're saying you basically associated walking in fear with our intelligence, and now you're saying living in fear. I asked you, what does that look like? And you're saying you're basically expressing the thoughts of someone that is questioning, you know, like not even questioning, they're just basically verbalizing these questions that are constant for them. And those are the reasons behind why they don't do certain things. But I
Mm-hmm.
would almost argue that, yeah, you're probably questioning if you're walking in fear. But if you're living in fear, excuse me, you're probably not even, those questions don't even happen anymore. And I'm not saying they don't happen, but you probably don't even consider them the way you would if you were just walking in fear.
Mm-hmm.
Like your decision, your mind is already made up. Like you already know you're not such and such.
That's true.
Or you look in the mirror, you don't even see, you know, the possibility of something great, you know.
I agree with that
And
being
and
settled.
and I'm saying I don't even know if it's settled. I wouldn't use that word
Or
either.
being settled with the decision that you don't, like, you're just not gonna do it because
Yeah. I mean, I would. The reason why I wouldn't say settled is because I think that has like a somewhat good, element to it. Like something being settled, to me is like there's a peace or a calm. I don't know if there's a true peace or calm with living in fear. You get what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
now, your mind might be made up, but I don't even know that that would be true either. It's
Mm-hmm.
probably constantly going, but you don't even listen to that.
Yeah.
So without trying to go overly, too deep, I guess you could say. But literally, I mean, I just wanted to consider it because it is like, I mean, I think it can be undone for one. You know what I mean? Like, I think for anybody that has maybe gotten to a place where they are walking in fear, hopefully not living in fear, but, for any of us that might walk in fear at any given point when we have those thoughts, if we're considering what other people might think if we such and such, or I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But to go back to the edifying, like that's why you got to be edifying yourself with the right things, because when you're making these decisions, what are you basing them off of?
Mm-hmm.
Or when you're having these thoughts, what are you combating those thoughts with?
Yeah.
Like, is it the truth, or is it just like opinions of the world?
Yeah.
Or are you looking around and seeing the choices that other people have made, and you're mimicking that,
Mm-hmm.
not realizing like you're gonna get a lot of the same results. The exterior might be decent, but you might not be happy on the other side of it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not to say like everybody's just in such a bad space, but sometimes the things that we're seeking and what we think we want, um, I mean, it's not it. So you got to be reminded of
Yeah.
what is it, and like go to those places daily, if not throughout the day.
Yeah.
Because you will have times come up where fear will show up. And fear is, I think it can come in many different forms.
Comes up in the gaps.
But no, I was about to make a joke, but let's say Jesus get in the gaps now, but
We need to allow him to get in
but
the
he does though,
gaps.
because that's where the fear is at. So he got to get in there too. but seriously though, I mean, and it could be in any given form, but again, hopefully nobody's living in fear, but we know that there are people out there that may find themselves getting to that point. And I've definitely walked in fear before. I mean, I'm not gonna sit up here and act like, fear is something I've never dealt with, but I think we do have to realize like, oh, like I gotta go to the place that is feeding me, whether it's a church or whatever, a community center, a group of people, a good book, but just whatever that place is,
Yeah.
prayer,
Mm-hmm.
meditation, quiet time, but like something that's gonna feed you the right things so that when you do get confronted or faced with, certain, I'll call them opportunities, maybe not good ones, to walk in fear, like you can walk the other way,
Yeah.
you know.
Absolutely.
So
Major keys.
thank you for participating in my question.
No, those are great
But
questions. They made me think for sure, but I think I think we gave them something good. Um
yeah,
just
that was a
we
lot. Sorry, but take some notes.
we have to indulge ourselves in things that are edifying, whether it's an activity, it's a daily thing. I don't, if you listen, listening to this podcast could be something that's edifying. Even having the right people around you, you need people around you even that will edify you as well. So
Yeah, that's true.
yeah,
Pick your friends wisely. Pick your books wisely. Pick
that
your
way.
music wisely. Um,
My bad.
yeah, you geeking. Um, but just you know, as a wise man once said, choose wisely.
Choose wisely.
So yeah, that way.
That way, when you do have a moment
I
where you
thought you were
don't
saying that way. Like,
know,
okay,
when you don't feel like it, or if there's a gap in your thoughts or in your day, because you've been spending your time building yourself up, just reverting straight to those things you've indulged yourself in is literally second nature.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good. It's good. And the momentum there can be a momentum shift. If you are in fear, you can shift up out of fear. And the momentum can continue down that path of life.
I
And
told y'all the mic was hot.
but we're going to sleep. It's past your bedtime. By we, I'm getting on my bunk. And you getting on yours. But hopefully, y'all did get something out of that tonight. We got a lot more we can definitely say. So maybe we'll do like a part 2. Probably do some thinking about what we talked about, and
Bring it back.
yeah.
All right.
But I like and appreciate your excitement tonight.
Trying to learn.
Nah, you keeping me up, because I would definitely be. I might be over here. I don't drool when I sleep, but
All right, y'all. We're going to go ahead and sign out. Thank you for listening. And yeah, everybody stay gracious, thankful for your ears, and pray everybody have a blessed week. And
yeah, and do better than you did the day before. Don't look back, only maybe to reflect, but not out of fear.
not out of fear. Peace.